Welcome to the Explainer. You know those problems that just feel impossible? Well, today we're going to crack them open. We're breaking down the whole art of creative problem solving into a simple, practical toolkit that you can start using, well, right now.
Okay, so here's the game plan. First, we're going to completely change how you even look at problems. Then we'll get our detective hats on to find what's really going on. After that, it's all about unleashing a ton of new ideas, and then, the crucial part, picking the absolute best one. All right, let's dive in. Oh yeah, we've all been here, right? Just staring at a wall, feeling totally and completely stuck. But here's the thing. Getting unstuck, it's not some kind of magic trick. It's actually a process, a repeatable path you can follow. It's how you turn that big, messy cloud of confusion into a single, sharp, brilliant idea. All right, first up, let's talk about the problem with problems. Seriously, the words you use to describe a challenge can literally be the difference between hitting a dead-end brick wall and finding a wide-open highway of possibilities. I want you to think about it for just a second. What's the last thing that really had you stumped? Could be a project at work, a goal at home, whatever it is. Got it? Okay, because I'm willing to bet that how you framed that problem in your mind is the number one reason you either solved it or you're still banging your head against the wall. And here's why that matters. The language you use is like giving your brain a command. If you call something a problem, your brain goes into fix-it mode, looking for what's broken. But if you reframe it as a challenge, now your brain is looking for a way to win. Call it an opportunity, and suddenly it's hunting for a benefit. See? That tiny shift in a single word, it changes absolutely everything. You know, this isn't some new age idea. We're talking about wisdom from guys like Charles Kettering, the legendary inventor over at GM. He nailed it when he said, "A problem well stated is a problem half solved." He knew that the real genius isn't always in finding the answer, but in figuring out the right question to ask in the first place. And Kettering didn't just leave it at a cool quote. He actually gave us 3 simple, super powerful rules. Rule 1, describe it before you decide anything. If you can't explain it simply, you don't get it yet. Rule 2, separate the real cause from all the clutter. There's a ton of noise out there that looks like data, but it's just a distraction. And rule 3, my favorite, test your assumptions early. Because let's be honest, most facts are just well-dressed guesses. Okay, so now that we know how to frame the case, it's time to put on our detective hats. We're about to learn a technique that's so simple, it's brilliant. And it's all about digging past the obvious symptoms to find the real smoking gun. This technique, the 5 whys, actually comes from Toyota. It's your secret weapon for root cause analysis. Seriously, think of it like a drill. Each time you ask why, you're drilling one layer deeper, past all the surface level stuff, until you hit the bedrock, the real fundamental issue. Let's walk through a classic example. So, a critical machine just stops, dead. Why? Well, the fuse blew. Okay, easy fix, right? Slap in a new fuse, but hold on, that's just a Band-Aid. We ask again, why did the fuse blow? Turns out the motor overheated. Why did it overheat? The bearing was worn out. We're getting closer. Why was it worn out? It wasn't getting lubricated. And finally, the 5th why. Why wasn't it being lubricated? Boom. The maintenance schedule wasn't being followed. That's the root cause. Fixing the fuse gets you running for an hour. Fixing the maintenance process solves the problem for good. All right, so you've framed the challenge like a pro, you've dug down and found the root cause. Now comes the really fun part. Time to generate a world of possibilities. And to do this, we have to give ourselves permission to get a little weird, a little wild, and to think way, way differently. I want you to think about this process like breathing. There are 2 phases. First, you breathe in. This is divergent thinking. You go as wide as you can, generating tons of options, exploring every possibility. And the golden rule here is no judgment. No idea is too dumb. Then you breathe out. That's convergent thinking. Now you zoom in, you apply that critical filter, and you make a decision. Yeah, think differently, think outside the box. It's easier to say than to do, I know. Our brains are actually hardwired to see patterns and create boundaries, even when they aren't really there. So, you know what? Let's prove it. Let's try a classic puzzle that perfectly shows how we trap ourselves. Okay, look at this. The challenge? Connect all 9 dots with just 4 straight lines, and you can't lift your pen from the paper. I'm serious. Hit pause and actually try it on a piece of paper. This isn't an IQ test. The solution is all about seeing the invisible box your brain automatically draws and having the guts to go right past its edges. So how'd you do? Did you get it? The aha moment comes when you realize the lines are allowed to extend beyond the square of dots. The puzzle never ever said you had to stay inside the lines. That was a rule you added. And that right there, that's the whole game. Learning to spot and break those self-imposed rules is the absolute core of creative thinking. Okay, this is the pivot point. You've created this beautiful storm of ideas, this wonderful mess of creativity. Now we need to become the blacksmith. It's time to take all that raw material and forge it into one sharp, practical, actionable solution.
But how do you just turn on the creativity? Well, you don't have to wait for a lightning bolt of inspiration. You use tools. These are your creative power tools. You've got things like classic brainstorming, mind mapping to visualize everything, or even a clever framework called Scamper. It's an acronym that prompts you with things like what can I substitute, combine, adapt. These tools are designed to force your brain out of its usual ruts. And once you have all those wild ideas, you switch toolkits. Now you bring in the precision instruments. This is where you zoom in. It could be as simple as a pros and cons list, or you could get more formal with something like a decision matrix, where you literally score your ideas based on things like cost, effort, and impact. The goal is to take the guesswork out of it and make a choice you can really stand behind. Okay, let's wrap this all up and put a bow on it. We've been on a real journey here, from the fog of confusion all the way to crystal clarity. Now it's time to pack our toolkit so you have everything you need the next time you're facing down a tough challenge. And here it is, the whole process in 4 simple steps. 1, you frame it. Turn that problem into an open-ended question. 2, you dig. Use the 5 whys to find the real root of it all. 3, you expand. Go wide, generate a ton of ideas, no judgment. And 4, you focus. Zoom back in, evaluate, and pick your winner. Frame, dig, expand, focus. That's it. It's not magic, it's a skill, a repeatable process that takes the frustration out of problem solving for good. So if there's one thing you take away today, let it be this. A problem is really just an opportunity in disguise. And the cool thing is, you now have the keys to unlock it. You've got the toolkit. So the only real question left is, what amazing opportunity that's currently hiding as a problem in your life are you going to tackle first?